I'm Lucille DeVries, and I live in apartment 262. Well, it's kind of a process, I guess, because I was one of these that thought, nope, I'm never going there. My husband and I wanted to stay in our condo for the rest of our life, but then he was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease in 2014, and I took care of him for many years, but it finally got that I couldn't do it anymore. My back was hurting, my shoulder was hurting, and so our kids said, we have to make a change, and they were right. So we've been, well, Jim has been at the inn for a year, but I didn't move here till May because my apartment was renovated. Oh, a lot of different places. I was born and raised in northern New Jersey, about 5 miles from the George Washington Bridge. Some of my ancestors were the original 1600 New Amsterdam settlers, but there were a lot of other people that came in at later time, Germans and French Huguenots. Um, I came out to go to Hope College, and I loved it out here. Had a lot of things that I was looking for my future, and so I decided to stay here. It had nothing to do with any problems with my family. I remained on good terms with all of them as long as they all lived, and but now most of them have moved to other states too, and I've been here since I was 22 years old. Well, 19 years old when I started at Hope, so a long time. Jim is my third husband, so we did not have children together. My first husband, I married during spring vacation of my senior year at college, and he passed away 28 years ago. Then my second husband died almost 19 years ago of a massive heart attack, and he was born and raised in Zeeland, and he worked for the city of Holland. And Jim and I just celebrated our 17th wedding anniversary in August. And together, oh my goodness, we have, I think, 15 kids and stepkids. And I'm trying to think how many kids, because I picked up some kids with my second husband, and I had one with my first husband, and he had four. That comes to about 8, I think. Wow. Right, I always wanted a lot of kids because that's one of the reasons why I became an elementary school teacher, is I love children. They're not children anymore, though. And I've worked a lot of different jobs. I worked in a hospital in summers when I was at Hope. I worked in an insurance office for a while. I did substitute teaching for many years. I also taught full-time for quite a few years, too. So, well, right now, none, because I'm spending as much time as I can with Jim. But genealogy is my absolute passion. I've done my own, and I do, if I have a friend that says, I don't know about my family, I'll offer to look it up for them. And so that's a lot of fun. I love to knit. I was involved in porcelain doll making for a while, and I dressed them all in period costumes, and I've done silk ribbon embroidery, regular embroidery. And I'm really into music. I studied piano at Hope College and all my life, really. But I haven't had a piano for many years, and I don't play anymore because my eyesight is not that great for reading music. But I love a lot of things. Love to be outside and walk. I spend as much time with Jim as I can because we have a lot of common interests and just like being together. Depends on what my health is and how much time I have in the future. I've always loved to swim, so that pool calls my name sometimes. I've been in choral and vocal music all my life, so that is a possibility. Reading, I don't know whether a book club would be in my future. I don't know. I love meeting people. I hope to make a lot of new friends. Because like many people, a lot of my friends are gone now. They've either moved away or they passed away. And it's time to start making new friends. Yeah, if you ever are lonely or want a cup of coffee or tea, just knock on my door and see if I'm home. Because I love having people come. You might have to meet a messy apartment if I am trying some new things. But I don't care. I don't care if your place is messy. Let's just get together and become new friends.
I'm Laurel DeGraaf.
I'm Jim DeGraaf.
And where do you live?
I live at 626
We lived in Norton Shores, Michigan for 22 years. Close enough to the lake so we could walk there in 10 minutes.
Lake being the big lake.
Yeah. Yeah, we were in Michigan since 1985. But before that, we were in Saskatchewan, Canada for 12 years.
We got Saskatchewan is next door to Alberta, where I grew up, and Saskatchewan was the first. How long did we stay there? 12 years.
Mhm.
I was born in the Netherlands. Yeah, and we immigrated to Canada to Alberta, Edmonton, Alberta, with my mother and father and my brother, older brother.
No, he was 6, and they came across in February of 1951, and the sea was rough. His mom was sick the entire time, he said, and he remembers his bowl of porridge falling off the table.
I thought it was hilarious. I remember, and it was a big joke.
Yeah. But his mom was not well, and then they get on a train, and they go,
Halifax, Nova Scotia.
yeah, so from Halifax all the way across to Edmonton, Alberta. And these poor Dutch people who come from such a small country, and they don't go too far. It was like, wow. Plus, it's really cold in Edmonton, Alberta in February. So that was a shock too, I'm sure. But they moved into an area that spoke only English so that they would learn it fast.
Yeah, very smart.
They did. So.
And my mother, the second thing, she was very smart. She went and bought a fur coat. That's it.
To keep her warm. Grand Rapids girl, born and raised. That's why my Midwest accent is pretty strong.
No.
And then when we moved back from Canada, we did live in Grand Rapids for 17 years.
And I was an audiologist as a profession. Loved it.
Yeah, and he was the head of the program for the Saskatchewan Hearing Aid Plan, which was brand new when we went there in 1973. And within a year, he was promoted to the clinic supervisors. He was in charge of the clinic in Regina, Saskatchewan, and in Saskatoon. And from there, they would outreach to all the communities. And hearing aids were at cost. That was huge. And I taught at Granville Christian School for 2 years before we moved. And when we moved, I think I was 8.5 months pregnant. And so, yeah, and we went up to Canada, and after the baby was born, I think I stayed home for a little bit, and then I started substitute teaching, and then I taught kindergarten the rest of the time we were up there. But once I got back, I did not go back to teaching. So I did other kind of teaching. I did ski patrol. I did children's worship. I did, I worked for the American Red Cross, teaching all their CPR and AED classes and things like that, and first aid classes. So, and I did that going out to businesses and police stations and whatever. Well, we had all 3 of them up in Canada, so they have dual citizenship, which is nice, as does Jim have dual citizenship. I'm the only true fully American. That's it.
American. Truly American.
Each of them have 2 children, and we ended up with 2 boys, a boy and a girl, and 2 boys from our children. So the one princess, boy, we always tell her she's our favorite granddaughter.
Well, you know I'm the only one.
But none of them live near, the closest is now Chicago. So, and then another in Cincinnati, Ohio, and then our youngest son and his family live in Amsterdam.
I used to do a lot of sailing in Lake Michigan and in the lakes as well, but that was one of my joys. I had several different sized sailboats, and Michigan is a beautiful place to sail. Great. And I like riding my bike. I have a road bike. I once rode it from Grand Rapids to New York City. That was a bit of a poke.
And he's done the Chicago to Mackinac race 2 or 3 times. And one time was really special because they were up by Manistee and just at the right time, the sun was just going down and all of a sudden here comes the light. It was the International Space Station.
Yeah.
It was huge because the sun was reflecting off all the solar panels. He says, "You won't believe what I saw."
No, it was one of the smart, I forgot his name, but one of the crew on the boat said, "Oh, that's the International Space Station."
But he said it looked like as big as a football field.
Yeah, huge.
Instead of that little dot that goes across the sky. So that was a pretty special thing to see. Well, as a family, we all did downhill skiing and cross-country skiing. So I don't do much of that anymore. It gets a little hard to get up off that hill when you fall.
She was a good skier. Yeah.
Well, we all were good skiers, but yeah, so we've skied in Lake Louise and
Which is in Alberta.
Whistler, and so and Colorado.
Yeah.
And so that was fun, which is why I got into ski patrol, because that way my kids could go to Canonsburg very inexpensively because mom got the tickets for very cheaply. So I always say location, 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 like the real estate people say.
But who got, what was the
Yeah,
first
well,
contact?
we lived close enough to Lake Michigan, so we wanted to stay close to Lake Michigan. We wanted to have things to do, and of course, we have Holland right within walking distance, and everything is within walking distance at the moment. So it's that was part of it. Plus, the lake isn't that far away, so that's kind of the draw, and it's a lovely place. Everybody you talk to loves it here, so and we love it here too. So
And
that's good, you know.
I found the food very good. It caught me by surprise because I'm thinking every night we gotta eat. It's delicious. They really do a nice
Yeah,
job.
so we have the Freedom 15. They come up and knock on our door anytime and take it for what it is. We'll welcome them in.
Yeah.
So 626. It's a long walk down there.
It would be nice to meet some people and open the door to with or without a glass of wine.